Okay, it's 5 past. A whole bunch of people more have joined, so I'm just going to unmute our panelists for today. Unmute. So Theresa and Robert, if you can just join with your microphone.
I'm on.
Perfect. Robert?
Yes, I'm on. Thank
Perfect.
you.
So good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining. We just have 1 or 2 people still joining in, but for now we're just ready to go. So sorry we had to wait 5 more minutes. Some people just messaged us privately saying I'm having a little bit of trouble, so we just started it 5 minutes later. But I'm assuming that's not a problem. So for the webinar for today, my name is Giel Tettelaar. I'll be the host. That means if you have any questions or if you have any problems with your Zoom, contact me. We're doing today's webinar over Zoom. That means that there's 2 ways that you can get in touch with either me or one of the panelists. So there's a question and answer box at the bottom of your screen. And in that question and answer box, you can just write a targeted question. So let's keep that content based, and just the questions for the panelists or the questions for me, you can just write them in there, and we'll get to answering them. There's also a chat function in Zoom, so if you want to chat amongst each other, that's perfectly fine. Or if you want to ask me a private message, then you can just send me. There's a host tag next to my name. You can just send me a question. So that should be possible. For the webinar for today, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a small presentation. So today we have with us Theresa du Preez. She runs the ICR Coach Register and Global Network Group in Africa. And we have Robert Tettelaar. He is involved with what we call the ICC Council. So that is primarily focused on quality management and the content-based areas of the register. Theresa will start off offering a short presentation. After that, Robert will explain the council a little bit, and then afterwards we'll do a full Q&A section. Within that Q&A section, you can just ask any questions, and any questions that have already been asked, we will get to them at the end. So if you have any questions during the presentation, ask them in the Q&A section, and then we'll get to them at the end. And the presentation today is mainly about the ICR register. So 1 or 2 people here who are mediators, if you want to know about the ADR registers for mediators and conflict coaches, there's a webinar tomorrow. So you can sign up for that. You can still sign up for that. And that will really get into the content-based side of the ADR register. Having said that, I think that's a good place to give the floor to Theresa. So she can start with the presentation and take it from there.
Yes, yeah. Hi, morning everyone. Thanks, Giel. I was just saying as we were waiting that we had an interesting chat last night with our president. So I think we're all set to go and waiting for Thursday to find out whether our lockdown is going to be extended or not. I hear Robert just said they've been extended in Netherlands up until 20 May. So let's hope we don't have that. But in any case, I think the lockdown is giving us interesting opportunities and challenges. I saw Winston Churchill also had a phrase saying that when we're in a situation like this, we just need to take it, embrace it, and run with it, and find ways to make things work. So, firstly, I want to check if everyone is okay out there. We've been trying to make contact with a few people that we know need a little bit of extra support. If you feel we need to give you a call every now and then, I really don't mind to check in and see if you're okay. I personally, this is not a problem for me. I thought, being in isolation, because that's normally how I live. But then all of a sudden you realize that at the end of the day, there are extra niggles and thoughts and problems that you weren't aware of. So if you need extra support or people to chat to, give me a call. And there's a lot of buddies. Robert calls it the buddy system, which I think is a great system. There's a lot of people on here chatting already. So, you know, just get together on a Skype or a Zoom and chat and see that everyone is fine. With that being said, I think this is the opportune time for us as ICR Register and for you as coaches to find a new way to work. I've been reading a lot of articles about doing coaching and therapy online. One of our webinars that we're going to have in May will be by a lady called Elsie Boyens, and she's going to talk a lot about how public relations and marketing needs to change. And in that, she's actually going to talk about specifically coaching and mediation. that's going online, and where people need to start thinking out of, I need to feel and see and touch. We need to develop new senses, and that's going to be a very interesting presentation. We've also got a presentation on Saturday by Michael Lee. Michael is also one of our ICR coaches. He's working closely with Giel of Action Factory. And they're going to be talking about creativity. It's not just for mediators and coaches. Anyone can join this. It's about getting us to be more creative in how we approach business in general. So I think that could be a very interesting chat. I see quite a few of the people that's on here today have already joined this chat. And then on the 29th, we will be talking to Dave Nemeth of Trend Forward. Dave is, I've known him for many years, but Dave is a trend forecaster. And to give you an idea, Dave, for instance, he did a forecast about Econ and said if they don't change the way of doing business, they will not make it. And we see it in South Africa. That's exactly what's happening now. So Dave is going to be doing a presentation in general, but also specifically aimed at our registers, the mediators and the coaches, to see how we need to adjust in order to make our businesses work. And that was one of the big questions that people were asking, is how are we going to do things differently? So we are addressing all of these issues in the future webinars, but for now, for today, we decided let's just go in general and explain what ICR Register is, how we work, what the benefits are. We're finding that there are a few people that have a few questions. So jump in. Giel, you can see is checking everything for us. It's going to be short. It's going to be really in general, but it will give you an idea of what we do and what's happening out there. So I'm going to just share a screen and then you can have a look at it. Sorry, let me just go back there. You have to excuse that I am share screen. It will be this one, dropping there. Are you seeing the ICR webpage, Giel?
We don't see it now, so I think you just need to confirm.
Okay, I'll drag it to a different one. Just a second, guys.
No, we're still seeing your webcam, so I think you just need to confirm the that you need to share the screen.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I've also included the link to the sign-up page for all the webinars with some small information. I've included that in the chat. So if you want to open that and browse for yourself at a later time, you can just find it in there. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
are you seeing the screen now, Giel?
Yeah, we're now seeing the Coach Register.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to take you through the web page, because everything that you need to know is always on this web page. Giel manages it and makes sure that everything is running. And if something for some reason is not on there, then you are more than welcome to give me a buzz. Now, firstly, I need to explain that our parent company, if I can call it that, is called Global Network Group. Now, Global Network Group came into existence when we realized that there are quite a few professions that are not regulated by government or bodies, and that's normally niche sort of industries, looking at coaches, looking at hypnotherapists, mediators, facilitators, arbitrators, and then people in the maritime industry as well, yacht brokers, and a few people like that. But our main focus at Global Network Group is to set standards and find a way to manage these registers. So we have 4 registers. The first one is obviously the ICR Register, which you are all part of. Well, I hope you're all part of it. Then we have the ADR Register, which is for mediators and arbitrators. We have IHR, which is for the hypnotherapist, and we have MC, as we call it, which is for the people in the maritime industry. But for today, we're going to focus on the Coaches Register, because that's where your interest lies. So as you can see, everything is absolutely on here. The reason why we are different to a lot of the other registers out there or bodies out there is the fact that we are completely independent. we don't do any training at all. We don't believe in doing training and then accrediting your own training. So we don't do that at all. If you look at what we can offer, it's all on here, but we have certain things in place. So sorry, I'm segueing. So the first thing is that we are completely independent. We are being we accredit and register based on ISO standards. As you can see, it's all there, the ISO 9001 2015 certified, and we accredit on ISO standards. In turn, we get audited by Lloyd's of Netherlands. So please don't think that when I go through the whole audit process a bit later, that you think, oh, why should I be sending in all these documents? You know, what's the purpose of it? Just please remember that that is what we are auditing against. We are auditing against the ISO standards, and in turn, we get audited once a year to check whether we have done our audit process correct. And if we don't do it correctly, then we obviously lose our certification with Lloyd's, and that's not something that we want to do. So as a coach, the first thing that everyone is asking me normally is what our benefits are. And I saw earlier Lorette also had a question there. I think one of the largest benefits that we can offer is the fact that you will be able to work internationally. 164 countries are part of the ISO, it's the International Standards Organization. So wherever you go, you should be able to work as a coach.
Yeah,
yes.
It's also important to mention, Terry rightly mentioned that to me, when we talk about coaches, it's not just one type of coach. So
no,
there's a whole spectrum of what we define coaching. So for example, NLP, which is its own subgroup, we also certify that. But then we also, for example, have people with work in hypnosis coaching or life coaching, which is very popular in South Africa. So there's a very broad spectrum, and I just wanted to add that just because people were asking about it, and it makes sense, right? So when we talk about coach, it's a very wide scope of what we define as coaching.
Yes, yeah, and that's also something that sets us apart from some of the other bodies, in that we look at the complete spectrum of coaching, and I'll show you when we get to that as well. So you can go through this and see that the main differences are that obviously we're independent, that you will be able to work nationally, internationally. And to give an example, we had a coach that went to Ireland. They wouldn't allow her to practice. We wrote a letter explaining exactly what we are and what we do, and she's now very happily practicing in Ireland as a life coach. So we can assist in any way possible, you know, obviously within limits. You know, if you are thinking of immigrating like Lorette is, about the age thing, Lorette, I don't know, but yes, you know, we will be able to help you. If you click on practice information, it's all there. Okay, now here we get to certificates. There's two ways that we can basically accredit and register you. Firstly, as a person, as an individual, or if you have a company with a few coaches, we can also do that. And that's, most of the other guys can't do that, but we do look at it because we believe it's to the benefit at large that you can actually certify all your coaches. There's different way of doing the audit process there. If you have a company with a few coaches, you're welcome to give me a call and chat about that. But it is a different way of doing it. You can have a look in there and see also we have different certification levels. Again, person bound, company bound, and then we obviously do expel people if there are certain complaints, and Robert will talk about that as the managing director of the ICC Council, when and why we expel people or suspend people. And then we also have honorary practitioners and practitioners of excellence, that are people that are really excelling in what they're doing. And if you feel you know someone that you would like to nominate, you're more than welcome to let us know, and we will look at that with the council. Let me just go. Okay, now this is what Giel was talking about. We have certain main scopes, and as you can see, there we have as a coach, business coach, a child coach, a conflict coach, hypnosis coach, inheritance coach, language coach, and an NLP coach. And within that, so you certify as one of those, as a coach, or NLP, or just a plain, just using the word, I mustn't say plain, but using the word coach. Within that, you then, when you apply, you click certain boxes to tell us what your subtypes are, what your specialisms are. Do you specialize in cancer, in career coaching, in life coaching? Are you an NLP practitioner? Are you a master practitioner? And then you will see that some of the, I know Neely's on here, there you have his people that qualify with him can claim this as a SA Business Coaches specialism. We have Action Factory that have specialisms, Perspective, Ubuntu Davies on here, they have certain recovery coach. So you can have a look and see what your specialism is and click the box and let us know if there's something on here that you would like to do that's not on the list. You're welcome to let us know, and we will evaluate it and see. For instance, we added things like Reiki practitioner not too long ago. The equine assisted psychotherapy we added because there was a need for that. So we can add that as well. If you're a language coach, it's very important, obviously, to be able to say, I can do Chinese, Mandarin, Dutch, English. But we are also finding that some of the coaches in South Africa like saying that they are specialized in English. And we do have other Dutch speakers or whatever that want to bring that up as well. So people know what they are looking for. So it's very important that when you apply, to let us know what your specialisms are and what your main scope is. Because when we process your documents, that is what I tick and tick, so that when people start looking on our register for a child coach, they know where to find one, because that phrase will specifically come up, or life coach will come up. So it's important to look at what your scopes and subtypes or specialisms are, and make us aware of it. Some of this you will be able to do on your own on your dashboard, but most of this you will have to ask me to do, or then it will be me and I can do that for you, so that's not a problem. We just looked at that now. Now the entry requirements, there's a question about the entry requirements. It comes up quite often. What's the difference between associate and full? And in short, when you've done your course, you apply as an associate coach. The moment that you can prove that you have done a number of cases and you've been practicing for a year, then you can apply or upgrade to full. So in short, the difference between full and associate is basically experience. And there's different ways of doing it. If you go to this page where it says entry requirements, it clearly states exactly what the differences are and what we need. So as I said, audit-wise, it's very important for us to make sure that you give us all the documents that we require. And it takes a lot of time and effort. And a lot of people are slow in sending in the detail because they think it's a shred, but it's actually not. It's very important for us to be able to make sure that you are what you say you are. To give you an example, we had a woman that applied as a life coach. She didn't have any education, but she said she's 64 and she has 4 kids. Surely that she is a life coach. So most probably she is, but I can't put her on the register, because when people come to you as a coach, they need to know that you are indeed qualified. So we firstly ask for a proof of no criminal record, or then a letter of good standing. I know in South Africa it's quite difficult, especially now we have new people that have applied to get the police clearance because of lockdown. There are different ways that you can do that. You can give me a call. But we do look at the fact that there's no criminal record. We do make exceptions from time to time in certain industries, but yeah, you're welcome to give me a call about that. Then we need general letters of recommendation. This must not be from your friends or your family or employers, please. This can be from any third party that you've been dealing with. So if you're on associate level, we understand that you don't have clients. You're not going to get a client to write a letter. You're going to have to ask someone to do it. But we need 2 letters saying, yes, she's fantastic, I know her or him. For the full level, we actually need 2 letters of recommendation. So that's where the difference comes in. Your clients need to issue those letters. We also make sure that you are actually who you are. I know it sounds weird, but that is exactly what we do. So you complete the online form. And that's part of our identification audit. If you want your company to be registered as well, it needs to be a company that is listed with SIPs, with our intellectual properties people. It can't just be a sole trading proprietor, sole proprietor or trading as. It has to be registered. And we add that for you free of charge. There's no problem in doing that. And then the valid liability insurance policy, that's a big thing in South Africa. We are saying that's optional in South Africa because at this point, it's just really expensive, and finding the right people to do it. We are looking at options. There is a company that might be able to assist us on lower policy or on insurance rates, but at this point, it's optional for associate and full. We look at your curriculum vitae. It must be scope related. So I don't need the curriculum vitae where you, from matric onwards, I really just need scope related from studies and from there onwards. We do, on the letters and on the curriculum vitae, we do checks, spot checks to actually make sure that that person does exist. And that, you know, what you're saying on the CV is real. We don't do it the whole time, but we do check. And then you will see that if you go from associate there to full, this is what we look at. 15 client, you must be able to prove 15, more than 15 client assignments. We look at that. So also you need to give us your proof of prior education. Did you study? Your matric certificate is also fine. We aren't prescriptive when it comes to that. We just need to make sure that at least there's something. Okay, that is now the ADR and IHR that you can also, if you're a conflict coach, you can also certify with the ADR register. If you're a hypnosis coach, you can also certify with the IHR register. And you will see that we actually do prefer university level, but you know, at least we are finding that some of the guys that have matric and we're waiting on our agencies normally or our training providers that say to us, that's fine, it's all okay. There you can see scope related. So if you tick, for instance, transformation academies, NLP, master NLP coach, you need to provide me with that certificate. If I don't receive those certificates, I cannot verify that you actually are what you ticked on those boxes. So we do look at each and every document that comes through. Knowledge test is one of our quality assurance measures. When you apply, for instance, with Transformation Academy, Giel is looking at it for the business coaches. We're speaking to the other training providers as well. Once you apply, you need to do an online test that is on the ICR Coaches Register. I'll show you on the dashboard. Depending on who you qualified with, that test will be based on that course material. So if you qualified, for instance, with Transformation Coaching Academy, the test will be based on their material. It's nothing new, things that you don't know, but the training providers or agencies, as we call them, they set the standards. So they will tell us they want you to achieve at least 80%. They send us the questions, answers. So there's no surprises there. Everything is the way that you are used to it. When you go from associate to full, we are going to require a skills test. That will be, and you will see everything is down here. what we will need you to do. It's after 2017, we decided this is now compulsory. So that's what you have to do. Yeah, we have to, you can just go through all of this. It's all, yeah, explaining exactly how you go from associate to full. So it's very available for you to read that. CPD requirements, everything is on here as well. And on your dashboard, once you've applied and you've registered and have done everything, you can actually log your CPD points as well. I'm correct, I feel, in saying that?
Yeah.
Okay. So you will see everything is on here. Just to show you as well that we have certain agencies, as we call them. Those are the training providers, as most of the South Africans know the word training providers. If you click on it, if you want to make sure that the person that you are doing your exam with, or the person that you are going to be studying with, is indeed one of our training providers, you will find it all on here. I'm just going to take Action Factor because they're first. You can click on it and you will go through to the site, so everything is there. So you can make sure that these people are actually accredited with us. So what happens, the agencies send in their course material to me. I have a look at it, I make a recommendation whether they should be allowed to be a training provider with us. They have to meet certain criteria as well. It goes through to the ICC Council, which is Robert and his team, and they decide yes or no, do the courses actually meet the international criteria, the ISO criteria, and only then do we allow them to be our training provider with us. You can see all the knowledge tests and skills tests, all the examination information is here. Something for people that have joined us already that I think I should just mention to you. You all have login codes, and I'm using yours, Giel, as an example, yeah. So you log in and you go to your dashboard, and here you can see where your exams are, your profiles, your CPD, your documents and logos. So for instance, go to your profile. I'm not sure if Giel's profile is loaded, but in any case, let's just see here, view profile, could be. So you go to the profile, you can edit this yourself and add information. I'm finding that a lot of people aren't updating their profiles. And at this point, it's very important to actually update it and make sure that you're findable and visible. And that people know where to find you, especially since I see a lot of people are looking, if you look at Facebook and social media, people are now looking for coaches, life coaches. They really need you guys. So make sure that your profile is updated. If you want to see if your profile is live, I'm just going to put in David, yours. For instance, you can search for columns, and there you will see David, all the companies that he's linked to. This is specifically for recovery coaching. You can click, the client can click on it, see who David is, what he does, where to find him, send messages. So you can play with your profile, make it as visible and spectacular as possible, because people are now trying to find you. I also want to ask you please to join us on Facebook and LinkedIn, because we have a lot of, I'm going to stop the share because I'm not going to go in here any further. Because we're going to be loading a lot of information on Facebook and LinkedIn. Specifically with the next webinars and a few of the other things. So I don't want to flood you with emails the whole time, because I think people get fed up of that as well. But join us on social media, make sure that you're following us. I will follow, well, we follow as far as we possibly can. The moment that you join, I start following you on your social media as well. So let's make this a huge circle to get the information out there and to make sure that somehow the client can get you, just to make it strong as well. We're not here to create work for you. We're here to make you findable and visible and assist you in finding work that way. But we're not here to send through any leads or anything like that. We don't even receive leads. When people, looking for a career coach, they might send us a mail and we'll send it to all the career coaches on our database. But we're not here to generate work, but we're here to assist you in and empower you in finding the work. I think that is sort of, in short, what we are about. Robert will explain to you a bit more on the ICC side and what he does. And then we're going to take questions.
Thank you, Theresa. Thank you, Giel, for everything. Thank you for all being here. A warm welcome from the Netherlands, where it is quite sunny in these concerning days. My task is to explain you a little bit about the ICC Council. I will keep that short, as most of it is said by Theresa. ICC Council main task is to guarantee impartiality, independency of the whole certification process. It is relevant because we are an ISO-based organization, and ISO demands that we have what they call a mechanism for impartiality and independency. And as said, as ICC Council, we try to guarantee that. To make that a little bit more clear, we distinguish in Global Network Group what we call operational processes and the process around criteria setting and things like that, complaint handling, the accreditation of the training providers, etc. Theresa and the other people here in the Netherlands are quite active with the operating process, and in the council we do setting the criteria, etc., etc. What we try to achieve is a quality assurance, because we believe that certification is all about giving quality assurance to the market, a guarantee to the market. And the guarantee is that there is an independent, impartial audit for the professional, for the practitioners, and for their companies. And if the outcome is positive, the guarantee is this person, this company is audited, he or she or the company did meet, in fact, all the criteria, so you as client can be sure that a professional service will be delivered. Having said that, it is relevant to talk about how our criteria set. As explained by Theresa, basically worldwide there are no criteria for coaches. There is no law on coaching or other official systems held by government. So we as field have to decide about criteria. One of the main tasks for ICC Council is to talk with you guys as practitioners, with your professional bodies, and to distinguish what is working for you as practitioners and what is working for your clients. Basically, it feels like mediating between your clients and the professional group to set criteria that really meets the expectations and demands of clients, and criteria that you can meet and that you can work with. So a lot of time here is invested in talking to you guys and to the sector and to the clients to find out what do we really want and what is working. One of the things we discovered is that people really want to distinguish several coaching types. For us, the reason to say we work with main scopes, as explained by Theresa. So we don't certify only coach, but we say, okay, are you a inheritance coach, a NLP coach, etc., etc. That's what we call main scopes. And for all those main scopes, we have a different type of criteria. Another relevant aspect is that it might be the case that a client is not satisfied and he wants to file a complaint. We discovered that, let's say, regularly a complaint is handled by taking disciplinary action, and you can get a disciplinary sanction. And talking with client-based organizations, we learned that they're not too happy about that. They do understand it's relevant for our internal process and to learn as sector, as coaches from that. But they say, listen, if we have a complaint about an invoice, we do not benefit from a system that's only based on disciplinary sanctions. So we want more. That's why we, as ICR Coach Register, are holding a system that what we call full complaint handling. So if a client is filing a complaint, we as counsel are going to find out what do you want to do as practitioner and what does the client want to achieve with the complaint. For instance, if the client is mentioning, listen, I just want to flag a signal, and it should be nice if you do internal investigation or simply discuss it within your quality system, and then it's fine with me. We do that. We give feedback. Client is happy. We as system are happy. Another case, for example, it's about an invoice and someone is complaining about the invoice, about the specifications of the invoice, and they want arbitration. And the practitioner is saying, okay, I agree to arbitration. Then we follow an arbitration procedure. So we are doing more than just the disciplinary side. We also offer internal investigations, mediation, arbitration, amicable solutions, etc., etc. Another relevant task for us is that we do accredit training providers. And it is important for now to say that there is a difference, to our opinion, to accreditation and certification. If we accredit a training provider, it means that we allow them to give out certificates. They give certificates of participants, they give certificates that shows proof that you have reached a certain level. So we are issuing the right to certify. And by doing that, we smooth our process, because if they issue a certificate, we can take for sure that someone has met the criteria on coaching from a training perspective, so on an educational level. Following our wish to accredit training providers and to certify the practitioners, we follow the ISO 17024. That's the worldwide ISO norm for the certification of professionals. And in there, it is set out how you have to organize certification, how you have to accredit a training provider. So that process is not defined or developed by us. We simply follow the ISO 17024. Your benefit from that is that wherever you're working on this globe, everybody knows what ISO is, and most of the governments, most of the official authorities or the bigger institution will say, okay, we don't know you as a person, we don't know ICR Coach Register, but we do know ISO and we respect ISO. It gives you as benefit that you can operate globally. And in these days, operating globally means, in my opinion, you can do it online or simply you move over the globe, although the last one is a little bit difficult nowadays. In short, this is what ICC Council is and what ICC Council does. My task is to govern that, so I'm the managing director, but a lot of people are involved. We have over 100 members of the ICC Council, and they are all involved in partial processes. If you have any question about that, please ask it now during the seminar, or feel free to send me a private message afterwards, or set up a private Zoom or Skype call.
Okay, so thanks, Robert. Just to kind of conclude our intentions with this webinar, I think what we wanted to do was just give a small explanation of the Coach Register, where we could focus on both the people who register with us and people who aren't registered with us, because both of those groups are in attendance today. So thanks, Theresa and Robert, for providing that explanation. And having provided that explanation, I think now is a great time to just get into some questions. So if you have any questions, either about your current registration or about membership, so we have one or two now that we'll run through. Then we will just answer them in the webinar. We'll do a short poll at the end. So we ask that we hope you can stay for that. And yeah, just to start with the first question from Terry Elston. So Theresa, how many members do we currently have in South Africa?
Hi Terry, it's nice to see you here. We have approximately 300 active members in South Africa on the ICR register at the moment. There are a few that are still in process to complete, so it will be a bit more than that. But at the moment, it's just short of 300 active members.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, so from Natasha Olivier. So that's, I think.
I love the way the Dutch say Olivier.
Yeah. So basically the question is if she can join the ICR register on for example, Facebook, if she isn't a member. So in the most general sense, I just want to put it a little bit more broadly. Either the mailing list or membership, you can always feel free to join. And the webinars that we're hosting now, because obviously this one was more about the register, and the ones in the future are going to be more content based. So about, you know, how do you deal as a coach with running your business during coronavirus. You can join all of those webinars without necessarily having to be a member. So that shouldn't be a problem. So that's perfectly fine.
Okay, I see a question here from Floris.
Yeah.
How many business coaches on ICR in South Africa? Floris, not that many. For some reason, we don't have that many. Giel is doing a lot of work as one of our training providers in specifically that field, but we don't have that many. So I think it's a nice niche if you are on the business coaching side to come on board, because now, well, especially now, with COVID, people are going to be looking for business coaches. So feel free to contact me.
Yeah, so a question from Terry about online courses. So he obviously he offers courses with whether he does an online pre-course, and I'm assuming the rest of the course will be on location. But just to answer that question in a more general sense, Robert, how do we deal with online courses? You know, what's kind of our accrediting procedure for that? What do we allow? What's perhaps not allowed? You know, how do we do that?
Well, quite frankly, we do accept all online courses, and it's up to the training provider to show proof that all the criteria are met and that the course is really delivering in what it is promising to the students. So from our side, we do not limit training providers in offering or developing online courses. And to be honest, we are quite happy to see and we are quite positive about courses online. We see, for example, that there is a huge discussion about skills training online. But if you look to software programs like Zoom, but there are more programs than Zoom, in which you can offer separate rooms or whatever they call it, and you can hop as trainer, guide the people. There are great opportunities to do it. So on our side, we say, listen, we do understand, we accept online courses, show us that you meet the criteria and that you are delivering what you promised to the students, and then it's fine with us.
And Theresa, just as a short summary, because I didn't think we dove too much into detail, the costs of becoming a coach with ICR.
Yes. So just to give you a bit of background, we had a grandfathering decision in place up until the end of last year. But from the beginning of this year, we jumped in completely, and we're doing it the way it should be done. So Sherry, yes, there's a cost of 2,000 Rand. That's the audit cost. That would include your online examination fee. Then on top of that, there's a membership fee of 975 Rand per annum. But for instance, if you only join in March, that 975 is prorated, so you will only pay for the 10 or 11 or 8 months that you are part of it. We calculate our rates from January to December. At the end of the year, you'll get a new a new invoice for the next year's membership, but that 2,000 rand audit fee, as well as that includes the examination fee, is a once-off cost. You're not going to pay the 2,000 again. You will only pay the membership fee, which renews basically your certificate. So the moment that you pay the membership cost, you will receive a new digital certificate, into perpetuity. You know, it depends on how long you want to stay on the register.
Okay, with that, I'm gonna start the poll and start closing it off. So we'll be in the webinar for a little while longer. So if you have any other questions or you just need a second to think, feel free. So I'm just gonna send everyone a poll now with some short questions about the webinar. Obviously, this is the first time for us as well because we're adjusting to the new times and to dealing with the coronavirus. So we'd love your feedback, and feel free to get in touch with Theresa about that. And as she said at the beginning, we have some more content-based webinars coming up with actual coaches, where we actually want to get into discussions of how are we going to deal with the coronavirus. So please feel free to join those as well.
Yeah, and if you have any suggestions or people that you feel we should be talking to, please do let us know. We are open to everything at the moment.
Perhaps this is also a nice moment to say that Theresa mentioned certification for organizations and companies. This type of certification is also especially developed for cooperating groups and associations. So if you are a small operating group, or you are facilitating franchise structures, or you are an association for practitioners, feel free to contact us, because it is time and cost effective if you certify as a group within all the practitioners. And the benefit of that is obvious. You see a lot of organizations in which, let's say, 40% is qualified and 60% is not, or vice versa. With the system developed by us, we think it's easy to cover the whole group, and as that, time and cost effective.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So
Rob.
Marlene has a question. So getting
We've got time, people. So if you have questions, I don't mind waiting if you want to formulate it or think about it.
Yeah.
Or else you can contact us privately. It's no problem.
Yeah. So getting in contact with us in general, I will post our email address in the chat for everyone. And then if you just go to the website, there's a contact form at the bottom. So you can always just send us a question through that, whatever it may be, and then we can just get in contact with you. But most of it's just email and phone. So if you get in contact with us through the website, then we'll just send you a small sheet with all the information you need. And in the chat, I'll post the email address that you can reach us at. And then that will go straight, be routed to Theresa. So Marlene, I see you have your hand raised up. If you have a question, just post it in the chat, and then we can get to it.
Yeah, it's not. We can't go anywhere.
Yeah, so we are going to be publishing. Actually, that's actually quite interesting. We are going to be publishing this webinar. So we've pre-recorded it, and we will publish it through Facebook and on our website. So you should be able to just watch it back. If there's bits that you might have seen that you might want to run through, you can just do that, and it'll be available to everyone.
The other thing is that, sorry, Giel, the other thing is that some of our training providers are also hosting webinars on their platforms. And I will add that to our Facebook pages. For instance, Burke from Transformation Academy is hosting, as well as Dion from Action Factory. I know David from Ubuntu. Everyone is hosting webinars, and I think we might as well, click into each other and see what the other guys are doing. We might just, stumble across something that's going to click with you. So I'll post it all on our Facebook as well, so you can access that.
Yeah, and in general, for us, it's not a problem to host. So basically, if you want to do a webinar as an agency, you might not fully get Zoom, and you might not necessarily want to have a paid subscription for that. So we're happy to offer our resources and our time to allow you to just focus on the presenting, and then, for example, me or Theresa can host the webinar, answer everyone's questions, and make sure that it all runs smoothly. Because otherwise, you have to focus on multiple things at once. That's not great. So if you want to host your own webinar, get in contact with us as well.
I see Flores is battling to find the Facebook page.
Yeah, I can just post that link. Just see. Okay,
Let's go back. Cheryl, while Giel is busy there. Thanks. Yeah, Bill from New Insights works with us closely as well. So yes, you could. We send everything through to Bill, and he very courteously sends everything through to all his students, or most of the training providers do. But you are welcome to find out about this on our Facebook pages or LinkedIn. We posted there as well. And the Transformation Academy I'm talking about is the one that Burke Esterhazen is running in Pretoria. His name is on our list of training providers if you did want to find it. I'm looking here as well.
So there's a question about...
okay, you're seeing through the link.
Yeah. So Theresa, maybe you can answer this one. What's the difference between a life coach and a counselor? That's quite an interesting question.
Yes, we don't really we don't accredit or register counselors, because that's completely different ballgame. That's where you actually go in and give the people really personal, help. It's more on the basis of either social workers, psychiatrists, psychologists. So that would be more on the counseling side. So we don't look at that at this point. We only look at life coaches that go and work according to the stepping stones that you were taught by your coaches. But we're not looking at the counseling side at all. I hope that answers your question.
Just quickly for the group, because I completely forgot. What's your phone number? What's the phone number?
My cell number. I don't mind you contacting.
The number of the African office, because there's a couple of people asking how to get in contact with you, and that they reach the European number.
Yes, what happens, sorry guys, what happens sometimes if I'm not in office, it rings and then it goes through to the European office, but I'm going to give you the global number now. Sorry, I don't remember it off heart. The GNG office is, and Giel will type it in as I read it. Sorry, Giel. 010 593 5017. And then you're more than welcome to use my cell number as well. I really don't mind. It's 082 712 5680. I'll also type it in here, but I think Giel is doing that.
Yeah,
so, you need my cell?
No.
So you're more than welcome to contact me at any time, and we'll help as far as we possibly can.
So LinkedIn, I will post on the group as well. So, in the chat you can find our LinkedIn and our Facebook addresses. So you can follow us. You can follow us there, and all the contact details are in there as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to call or email us, and we'll be happy to help.
The other thing is just I see Belinda's also saying she's fired up, great, to send the documents. You are more than welcome to send them through as you get them. You needn't wait for everything to be there and bunch them and send them through. You can send them one by one, because I audit them one by one and they go onto your file one by one. So send them as you receive them. That will be acceptable. It's no problem.
So the last thing that I definitely want to add about the other webinars, because there's definitely some interest for that. You can find them on the link I'm posting in the chat now, and we will keep everyone informed through either mailings or through the social media about what webinars are upcoming. And as said, though, you don't have to be a coach necessarily to attend those. And in the future, they're definitely going to be focused on dealing with coronavirus and content-based areas of running your coaching business. So yeah, we definitely welcome anyone who wants to join those webinars. And the link is now in the chat, so you can just click on there. It's just a little Zoom form that you have to fill in, and that's it. And it's quite easy to sign up.
Yeah. They're not all active yet, but you will find the list. Yes, I'll be adding the rest of the list a bit later today.
Okay. I think with that, it's a good time to end. I think we've
Yes.
run through all most of the high level points, explaining the coach register. So we will be sticking around for another 5 to 10 minutes. So if you do have any other questions, feel free. And otherwise, yeah, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again in the future. And if you have any feedback, please send us a mail or contact us through Facebook or LinkedIn, or just call Theresa, because we definitely want to do more of these webinars, and we also want to get better at them.
Yeah, especially the sharing, but it's okay. You see, guys, that's why that's why I have Giel, because he's a lot better at this than I am. So if I get stuck, at least he can help me. But yes, we're all learning as far as we go.
Yeah, and it's getting used to the times. I mean, that's definitely something. So I think for us,
Yeah.
it was the first webinar was just also to get a feel for how do you run this.
Yes.
So we're doing one for the ADR register now as well. But it is just, you know, getting used to it and planning them in, because it's something I think people want to do, but I think it's also important that we keep everyone informed and keep each other informed of how times are changing and how you can deal with them.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I think it's interesting also to realize that this is a way that you can coach. If your client has access to fiber or to data, you can actually coach like this. We've got people that are saying, yes, but I can't see them, I can't touch them, I can't see if they're upset, I can't feel. I think we're all developing new skills at the moment, and new senses. And just looking at what we've achieved today and the reaction that we've got, I really think that we can coach like this. Marina, sorry, I see you want a good description of a life coach. I'm going to send you, I've got your detail, I've got your email address. I'll send you a summary on all of that, and you can go through it, and we can chat through it as well. Yes, Sonia says she's been coaching like this for a while, way behind.
That is it. You can coach like this, and the other thing that you can do is definitely, you know, get the word out. And one of the things about these type of changes in the times and the way we're going to start, you know, now also operating as a society with everyone having to keep 1.5 meters distance, you know, you need to come up with new solutions, and I think you also need to start marketing your products somewhat tailored for the changes that we're going to see coming. And so with that, it helps to learn from each other and to build up ideas. And yeah, these type of tools, you know, they can work.
Well, I'm finding that I'm saving a lot of time. Because you don't have to get into a car and travel, and yes, I mean, we can't really, but you definitely are saving time. Sure, now I just saw a private message, sorry guys. Thanks, yeah, it's nice to see that you've enjoyed it. If we can change it or better it, please tell me. We really don't mind. We're very open to suggestions and ideas. I enjoy doing it because at least it feels like I've got some contact with people at the moment, which is nice.
Yeah, and what we notice in the Netherlands as well is that, you know, a lot of people definitely want to get hold of us, and they have questions, and so that's, I think, why we did the first webinar like this as well, just to offer people some information and yeah, to keep in touch with them.
Exactly. We are also going to have, while we're just waiting and seeing if there's more questions coming in, we're also going to have a bit more of self-help webinars as well. So, you know, it's not just going to be the normal sort of thing, what as a coach you can do. This is going to be also for you as a human being, as a person, to get through this whole process of being in isolation and how to cope with it. I've got a one of the webinars that are coming up, the lady is called Tina Beck-Bessinger. She had a double lung and heart transplant. And she's one of the only 5 in the world that is still going. But she will talk to us about how she's been in isolation for so many times, in hospital wards, in her room. Thanks, I'm getting some coffee. Thanks, Chris. And she will explain to you what her coping mechanisms are. Really, she's actually worse off than we are in that no one could get close to her or touch her or go and see her. And that's what a lot of people are facing at the moment, is that fear of being on your own. So she's going to be talking of her coping mechanisms. So we're not just looking at the solid business focused stuff, but also at the softer side of helping each other through this whole process.
Yeah, I think that's one of the ways in which, you know, if you are a life coach, you can then also adjust it a little bit to you know, we were talking about subtypes. We can add a subtype which helps people with these type of isolation related problems.
Yes.
You know, and that's where, you know, especially in the short run, where people are definitely still locked up in their homes. You know, these type of resources where we can offer it in an affordable way to many people, that is going to be really effective.
Exactly.
Okay, I think for now, people are just peeling off. Obviously, I think for us, if you have any other questions, you can just send Theresa a message. For now, we're going to be closing the webinar, so thank you all for joining. I hope it was useful. We hope to see you in the future in other webinars. And if you have any other questions or something pops up into your mind during the day, just send Theresa a message because she's always available.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
And we'll see you hopefully on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robert.
Bye
Thanks
for now.
your time. Thanks,
Bye.
Giel.